Good morning, students. Today's class is about allergy. This latex allergy is mainly due to rubber because this latex is a rubber product that is extracted from the tree. Let's see about the latex. Natural rubber latex is the milky fluid extracted and processed from the rubber tree Hevea brasiliensis. The fluid is made up of 60% water, 35% rubber and 5% organic substance. So it is extracted from the tree. All our rubber products are extracted from this tree, that is Hevea brasiliensis. And this latex is also made of this rubber product. Latex gloves are the major sources of latex proteins and are implicated in most cases of latex mediated reaction. So the latex is also used in making gloves and is mainly the source of latex protein, that is the main cause of allergy. Latex gloves contains proteins that are subject to hydrolysis and denaturation during process. So these latex gloves are containing proteins that are causing hydrolysis and denaturation. Then cornstarch used as toning agent for gloves. So there is a cornstarch used for the toning agent. That means it is helping to avoid friction between the rubbers. So for that this cornstarch is used. It acts as a carrier for latex allergens by binding to latex proteins. So this cornstarch acts as a carrier. That means it is helping allergens to be carrying with this latex proteins. Then the cornstarch latex particles are released into the air and inhaled and may lead to respiratory symptoms. So these cornstarch can also cause respiratory symptoms when inhaled through the air. Frequently used products that contains latex include urinary catheters, tourniquets, rubber plunger of syringes, IV tubings, tapes and electrocardio pads. So these are mostly used rubber articles mainly used in the hospital setting. Now let's see what are the main causes. What is the causes of this latex allergy? Type 1 allergic reaction is caused by the latex protein allergen. Then type 4 allergic reaction is caused by the chemical used in the manufacturing process. So these are the two main types that are causing allergies, that is type 1 allergic reactions and type 4 allergic reaction. The first one is due to protein allergen and the fourth one is due to the manufacturing process. Now let's see what is this type 1 reaction, the protein fault. Known as true allergy, the latex protein allergen provokes an immunologic response in the form of antibodies, specifically immunoglobulin E. IgE binds with the allergen, resulting in a cascading action of mast cells and basophil cells releasing chemical mediators such as histamine. So this type 1 is the main fault, that is it is the main cause that is leading to latex allergy. It is binding with the IgE and thus it is initiating the action of allergens to activate in the body, that is causing allergy. Now let's see what is type 4. Type 4 reaction, the chemical fault. The first one was due to protein and due to immunoglobulin IgE, and the type 4 is due to the chemicals. Type 4 reaction caused by the chemicals added to the latex is production and not the latex protein itself. So whenever these chemicals are used, these are the cause of the allergies. Type 4 reaction involves various cells including T cells but do not affect antibody formation significantly. Onset is delayed from 12 to 48 hours, manifests itself most commonly as contact dermatitis. So it is caused by the chemicals, then onset is 12 to 48 hours. Then you can identify it through a contact dermatitis. I have already taught you contact dermatitis. It is through the contact when you are getting any itching or allergies. Then next are fruity twist. This fruity twist is nothing but when you are having latex allergy, sometimes it is suppressed. You are not going to notice it. But due to some fruits, these allergies get more prominent and you are noticing in your body after a long period of time. Now let's see what is this fruity twist is. Either the fruit allergy triggers a previously undiagnosed recognition of latex allergy, or after years of exposure to latex or latex sensitivity, the person develops a fruit allergy. Most common group of protein that cause cross allergy reactions have occurred with avocado, banana, celery, chestnut and pear. So whenever you are getting exposed to this latex allergy, sometimes it is not diagnosed, and being a long time you are going to happen to have a certain types of fruit allergies. That means whenever you will take that fruit you are going to have latex allergy, overcoming it. So let's see what are these fruits. Less common are reactions to apricot, buckwheat, cherry, fig, grape, kiwi, mango, melon, nectarine, orange, papaya, passion fruit, peach, peanut, pineapple, plum, potato, tomato and walnut. So whenever the person is having latex allergy and is undiagnosed, so later when he gets contact with certain fruits, so he might get it prominent. Let's see the risk factors. What are the risk factors which can lead to latex allergy? So these risk factors are contact dermatitis, urticaria, asthma, rhinitis, atopic background, that means atopic dermatitis, multi-surgical procedures, anaphylaxis, healthcare workers or workers in frequent contact with latex, then cross reactivity with fresh fruits and nuts. Then let's see the population at risk. That means what means among the people who can get it more frequently. Those with a history of atopic reactions, concurrent allergy to certain fruits, children with neural tube defects like congenital spina bifida, those who have had repeated exposure either through occupation or multiple procedures. The most efficient source of sensitization is a medical environment is via aerosocialized latex protein form powered latex gloves. So these are the peoples who are having more chances to get affected with latex allergy, and the most means you can say the most nearest peoples are the people those who work in the medical area, because they have more chances of inhaling this powdered product. Let's see the signs and symptoms. What are the signs and symptoms going to occur? So mild reactions include redness where contact with latex has occurred, skin rashes, hives, swelling of face and hands, runny nose, itchy nose and watery eyes. Then anaphylactic reaction, that is rashes, you can say allergic reactions, wheezing, decrease in blood pressure, increased heart rate, flushed face, swelling of the throat. Then let's see other symptoms. Other signs during aesthetic include difficult hand ventilation, increased peak respiratory pressure, expiratory wheezes, then increased end-tidal carbon dioxide with a upsloping of the tracing, tachycardia, decreased blood pressure. That means you're mainly going to notice the respiratory symptoms. Then let's see the diagnosis, how you can diagnose the patient. First and foremost, we are going to have brief history collection. Then we can go for the physical examination. Then after that, you will be going for the blood test. In that, we will be checking the serum tryptase. Then you will go for the next, you will go for serological testing. Then you will be going for the skin testing. Then you will be coming to management. In management, you have to make the patient to keep safe distance from the allergic substances. Discontinuation of the potential trigger and of the aesthetic drugs is very important in the treatment of the anaphylaxis. So you have to use the substances, you have to use the anesthetic drugs to keep the patient calm and to give him comfortable, you can say comfortable environment. Then you have to keep the allergy substance away from the patient. Then gloves should be changed to non-latex if anaphylaxis is suspected and latex gloves are being used. So you have to use the non-latex gloves instead of latex gloves. Then special attention should be given to a recent medication or blood product if administration should be discontinued. So whatever is continued to the patient in the hospital, everything should be gone through, and you have to check it twice whether the patient is allergic to the substance or not, and whether the whether the substances are latex products or non-latex products. Then therapeutic options include airway maintenance with 100% oxygen, then IV fluids to sustain the blood pressure, and resuscitation medications. These are the other, you can say other medications, or you can life supporting equipments you can use for the patients. Then medications will be like epinephrine. Epinephrine is a emergency drug, so you have to use this drug for the treatment of the patient. It helps in, it is the most important medication for the treatment of anaphylaxis, that is allergic reaction. Then its alpha agonist properties help sustain the blood pressure, whereas its beta 2 effect is effective in relieving bronchoconstriction. So it suppresses, it helps in relieving the blood pressure, and also helps in bronchoconstriction. You can say it reduces the bronchoconstriction, so the person is able to breathe properly. And the next medication, antihistamine, then bronchodilators, H2 blockers, and corticosteroids, which helps in relieving the pressure and relieving the inflammation, and allows the persons to relax and have suppression of the signs and symptoms in the patients. That's all for the today's class. Thank you to everyone.